Welcome to the Film Rescue Show. I am your Pitchmaster General, here to lead us through the minefields of Hollywood and talk about Indiana Jones 5, directed by James Mangold. Now, if you're a viewer with us for a while, you're probably wondering, Seth, why are you talking about Indiana Jones again? They keep making the movies, so we're going to keep pitching them.
Not anymore. They ain't making more of these.
They'll make another one.
Yes, with Harrison Ford's corpse.
Right. Just animate him Weekend at Bernie's style. Today I'm joined by an already drinking professional cynic, Jesse Fresco. Jesse, thanks for being here.
You know how you usually have the wine because it's like, oh, it's not that bad. No, this one gets the whiskey. This one gets the whiskey because, god damn it.
Honestly, wine is for classy movies. This movie's not classy.
This movie's not classy.
We need to save the alcohol for Harrison Ford and all the stunts they put him through.
God.
Are you sure they did? Because apparently they put a bunch of masks on stuntmen to look like him. Have you seen those photos?
I have. They're kind of.
That is horrifying.
I want to do a horror movie with that, but just redo Halloween with the Indiana Jones mask.
Oh god, that's how they reboot the Halloween series. It's not William Shatner's face. It's going to be Harrison Ford's fucking creepy ass mask.
That's exactly what I want. We are also joined by the gamer of gamers. Mike Spielman is here to talk to us. Actually, you have the pitch today. Am I correct in assuming that? I don't have a pitch prepared.
So I actually had two pitches prepared for this. And I'm going to let you choose which one we do.
A choose your own pitch adventure.
Yeah,
I love when we get these.
I have two. As I've watched this movie now, hold on, 8 times.
Jesus.
Oh, God. See, I like I always say, this man only watches trash. Only trash.
I came up today with a second pitch. So I have 2 pitches now. And I'll let you choose. And yeah, I do watch a lot of trash. It's my favorite thing to do.
Listen, you choose to do it to yourself. It is what it is. I would love to I want to back up for a second because we have pitched Indiana Jones more than once on this show. Actually, the inception of Film Rescue was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull era.
Mm-hmm.
So I just to
love that movie.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel.
I will say, at least this movie doesn't have fucking aliens in it. At least I'll give it credit for that.
Yeah,
exactly.
So we will to sum up how Montresor, Jaguar Sharks, the group of us have discussed these movies. Raiders is the best. Last Crusade's an easy favorite. Temple of Doom has some issues, but it's really fun.
Underappreciated for what it's trying to say.
That sits as a nice tight little trilogy. Mm-hmm. Then we have Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That is the
worst.
That's the hump day. We are headed downhill fast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's the worst one.
I would agree. Spoilers for
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree. At least Dial of Destiny has some nice little scenes in it, whereas Crystal Skull is just
awful.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's guess because
remember when they were trying to say that he was going to be the next Indiana Jones? Thank Christ that didn't happen because all that shit's been coming out about him recently. It's like I was giving him a little bit of credit, like okay, he's in therapy, he's getting his shit together.
He wasn't in therapy, he was in church. He was in church.
Yeah, and this dude like abused his ex-girlfriend, like gave her an uncurable STI, beat her, like fuck that guy so hard. Don't give him a comeback.
He's a piece of shit.
He should be in jail or dead. That's my thoughts for Shia LaBeouf. Moving on.
Guess how many times I've watched Crystal Skull?
Once.
How many?
Once.
Wow. Called it! That's how bad it is.
That's how bad it is. I can't even get through that fucking thing multiple times.
Yeah.
Well, here we are on the shores of the Dial of Destiny. This was the lead up to this. We had talked about it a couple times on the podcast. Everyone being like, James Mangold, okay, this man could do it.
We were talking up like, how can he fuck this up? It's an easy win. James Mangold doing Indiana Jones. How do you fuck this up? How do you fuck this up? They fucked it up.
Disney got involved. That's how they fucked it
Yeah,
up.
like it's Indiana Jones is always known for being like brutal movies, like lots of blood and gore and violence. Like anytime somebody gets shot in this movie, there's almost no blood, there's no gore. It's like, even the attack at the end, in the end of this movie, like the assault on,
Mild.
ancient
the
Sicily,
Battle of Syracuse.
Battle of Syracuse, like when they're getting shot with those giant ballistas,
Spears.
like
Yep.
there's no blood, no gore, like bro.
It's a sad day. It's
Yeah.
to be cleaned, to be shined up like this.
I feel like this
But-
was the final kick into the grave for this franchise.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, Machine Games
I know they
is
have the
making
game on the
video
way.
game, and
I
it's
know
made
they
by a
had-
good studio.
Yeah.
I know.
And do we know when that is set in the like Indiana Jones timeline? Is this like old indie, or
hold on.
will this be
I
adult
actually do
indie?
think we know.
The only thing I know about it is that it's first person, so they could distance it from the Uncharted franchise. That's the only thing I know.
Correct.
I think that's smart.
So,
Mirror's Edge is an excellent argument for
I
first
don't even
person.
think- I don't even think you have to
platforming
distance
adventure.
It. Fuck it. Like, I don't even think you need to distance itself. It's being made by a studio who's known for. I mean, look at what they did to Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. The story is set in 1937, so it places it in between the events of Lost Ark and Last Crusade.
That is a young indie. That is
Yeah.
a young man indie. Hell yeah. Okay.
And it's
Well,
Troy Baker doing the voice, because it's Harrison
And
Ford
he
does not do video games.
Sounds fucking good.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
sounds
dude,
great.
Troy Baker. I happened to be in the Katakuri battle of One Piece right now, and he voices Katakuri in that.
Sounds so
so
good,
I've just
Katakuri.
there's gonna be a lot of Troy Baker bouncing around my ears for a
Have
while.
you been enjoying Ray Chase and that gorgeous Trafalgar Law voice that he has? I love him as Trafalgar.
Yeah, dude.
He's so great. He's silky smooth.
What a sad backstory. Oh my god.
And on
So-
brand, like, because we don't want to talk about this movie, we're talking about other shit.
all right, let's
Dive
crank,
in.
let's crank this dial back. Let's jump into
Let's
the
switch
good, because while I do understand the issues here and probably won't defend this movie too hard, I can defend large chunks of this movie. There's a lot of mangled, untouched in here from the Disney sanitization.
A couple of James Mangold untouched stuff.
Yes.
I did it! I did the thing!
That's perfect joke. Where's Josh? Josh!
Thank you.
That
I'd
gets
like my
approval,
paycheck
Josh.
now.
Selling them the money.
So let me kick this over to our professional cynic first. If you had to walk away with 3, I'm going to make you go for 3. This
Oh,
time.
you asshole.
3 things that we're
Shit.
keeping. Your producer notes for this movie. What are we keeping, Mr. Fresco?
Oh boy. Okay. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She's good. I like her.
That's
she
correct.
Yeah, she is very. I was pointing this out to Mike earlier on. This is the wild coincidence that she's working on the new Tomb Raider show for Amazon. She was at one point supposed to play Lara Croft, and she has, I think, backed away from that. I think they're trying to find somebody else that's a little bit younger. And I know this is big point of contention. They even put an article about this. Do we keep the boobs? Do we not have the boobs? Because she's not a large-breasted woman. I think they're trying to get somebody that's a little more closer to looking like Laura. I think that's the
Closer to
plan.
Alicia Vikander, who was
Alicia
absolute-
Vikander. They're trying to get somebody
so
that looks more. Yeah.
Mm.
I know that's
could-
the horrible, cynical way of looking at it, but that's kind of what they're going for.
Well,
But
and
she's
like,
good in the movie.
okay. Let's back up for a second on that too, because we will very openly say like Wolverine should be a short guy, and like you have to cast a big guy to fight Reacher, right? Like you cast.
Oh,
a
there's my
prototypes
other
of the character.
positive. The big dude, the big dude in this movie. Yeah, it's what is his name? Remind me his name.
Olivier.
Olivier Richters plays Hauk. He is a giant. He is 7'2", weighs 350 pounds of pure muscle mass. He's in season 3 of Reacher playing Paulie. The two of these guys, Alan Ritchson and this guy, fighting each other will split the earth in half.
Yeah.
Just so people
They
understand.
found someone
Paulie-
bigger than Alan Ritchson.
Paulie is described in the book as being bigger than Reacher.
Oh yeah, yeah. He like pounds him into the pavement multiple times.
Jesus.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is the perfect casting for this role.
Yeah,
He's so
after
perfect.
season 2, where he didn't really have a physical person to take on. They said, you know what? Let's get a big guy to fight him this time. Let's see him really get the
shit pushed in.
Oh yeah, bend over, Reacher. We're going in dry.
I'm thinking back to The Rock versus Vin Diesel and how like fake big guy that all was, because both of them lie about their height and their size and all that. We're finally getting that fight for real. We will definitely get that fight for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting
okay. So two castings that we're keeping. I love that. Anything plot wise that you enjoyed, filmmaking wise? Anything in the like the stories or the metaphors that you dug?
I'm really struggling here.
Just go with the casting.
The plot is just so I like the opening sequence. The opening sequence where it's young Indy, even though the CGI occasionally has an uncanny valley with young Indiana Jones' face.
Stop making them move their lips. God damn it. Stop making CGI.
But when his face is still, it looks good. The moment he speaks, it's gummy. Stop it.
The noose scene. The noose is so badly hurting that CGI.
No, the best is when he falls through the floor and it's his head bouncing around on top of a still body. How much did this movie cost?
Almost $300 million.
Oh my God. One of the most expensive movies ever made. Budget between $295 and $387 million. Dude.
Yeah.
Why? That's a big, wide margin of error right there.
Disney, baby. Fucking Disney.
Oh, God damn it.
Shit.
For comparison, the budget on Crystal Skull was $185 million.
Still bad. Still too much.
Yeah.
Arguably, yes. Yes.
Budget on
the cost of this movie.
Budget on Raiders was around, what was it, like 20 million, 30 million? Adjusted for inflation, it goes to be like 30, 60.
It's like 60.
That's a modest movie.
You could absolutely do this movie for like $100 million.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Do Dial of Destiny
like this exact movie. Like
I could redo this. I could just be lazy as shit, do nothing but say, hey, let's use more practical effects, more makeup, and more on-set filming and on-location filming, less reliance on CGI, and boom, I'm just cut the budget down by so much.
Right.
By removing all that CGI.
Well, that's not how Disney thinks.
Nope, it's definitely not how Disney thinks.
Well, I take that back. It's how Disney thinks now because they had the biggest financial loss of 2023. Wasn't it like in the realm of like $1 billion or something like that? It was just failure after failure after failure after failure. It's like, stop it with this bullshit, okay? You cannot spend the same amount of money on your movies that it would take to rebuild a third world nation. All the money that was spent on all their movies from 2023, they could have fixed almost every world problem right now. They could have cured the conflict in the Middle East that's happening right now. They could have cured that. They decided Indiana Jones 5 was fucking worth it.
I don't think you can cure religious issues.
Yeah.
Taught me anything.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but like
money will fix anything.
It's a disgusting waste for sure.
It's
like
just
to
a bad
see,
waste.
Disgusting being the key adjective there.
I would hate to find out what Harrison Ford actually got paid for this role.
Hopefully
his minimum fee is $20 million.
Yeah. I was gonna say like DiCaprio's $10 million thing was like 10 years ago. They have to be pushing $20-30 million.
Oh yeah. His
That's
minimum is 20%
of their budget here.
Yeah. And they get residuals on the back end if the movie makes profit. It didn't, so they don't get anything. But
I'm too angry. We got to get back to the good stuff, Mikey.
Right,
what are we keeping?
I want to clarify one thing. So the whole train sequence, I did like the little nod to the video game, The Spear of Destiny. I like that little nod. I was like, oh yeah, that was cute. That was cute. I was like that. Yeah, it ties into the video game Spear of Destiny, the old point and click game. I was like, oh, it's sweet. That was nice.
Cute. I thought that was a real that made me hopeful that this movie wasn't going to suck.
Yeah.
That should have been what the movie was about, the Spear of Destiny. I don't give a shit about the Dial of Archimedes. Might make that the focus of the story.
I really do but see, that's one of my positives. I really love the whole concept of the Dial of Destiny thing. That Archimedes essentially found a way to travel through time because he figured out the math, essentially the basic math of time.
Of time portals.
I fucking think that is such a cool thing that I was just like, that's so dope. That
Have you ever
one of
seen the other movie that James
love
Mangold
that.
directed called Kate and Leopold? It's the same thing.
Oh,
So Kate and Leopold, Hugh Jackman is a what the hell is he? He's from
A guy.
God damn it, what the hell is it called? It's Kate and Leopold. It was from 2001. Here's tells the story of a
future.
tells the story of a physicist by the name of Stuart Liev Schreiber who accidentally pulls his great-great-grandfather Leopold through a time portal from the 19th century New York to the present, where Leopold and Stuart's ex-girlfriend Kate fall in love with each other.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it also is funny because in that story, Leopold apparently invented the elevator, and when he comes forward through time, all the elevators in the world disappear.
That's incredible.
It's the same premise because because they didn't invent a time machine. They're just like, oh yeah, there's these time portals that just kind of show up every now and again. Jump into it. You go back to wherever you want to go. It's the same exact.
It's not, because it's the time portals don't just show up randomly. They're on there's like a calculation to them.
They're on a clock-based system, but it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like there's no machine to do it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, there's my aside.
Hell yeah.
And yes,
So-
there is incest in Kate and Leopold. Accidentally shows up in there, and James Mangold spends half the commentary trying to explain it away.
That's also hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Okay, so yeah, I'm down for keeping Helena Shaw. I'm down for keeping our great big goon. I agree. I have no issues with the opening either.
It's
For
excessive
me-
CGI aside.
Yeah,
Oh,
for me,
just
I
wait
think
till you see what I change on that.
up through
Are
the
you going to
Tuk
start it on the
Tuk-
train and not put it in the castle?
Nope.
Well, fuck.
up through the Tuk Tuk chase. I was pretty much on board. I was ready to like send the text in the theater, and I was like,
Wow.
Chase makes no fucking sense. Why is her fiance shooting at her?
Because she sold the ring.
yeah.
Tuk Tuk Chase. I was so confused.
And that sequence is like 15 to 20 minutes, man.
I kept thinking I missed something. Every time I watch this movie again, I stop and I go, "Oh, that's right. This just happens."
I can take my hiccups. I was ready to defend up through the Tuk Tuk race, and
Yeah.
then in the back half, that's where I get lost. So you've seen this 8 times, Mike. What is really worth saving here? Where's the good filmmaking on display?
Okay, I really like the end. I really do like him realizing that there's like his defeat, that depression, accepting his depression, accepting that he feels like he hasn't. The only thing he had was history. I
Mm.
really love when he goes back in time and he wants to stay there, and that little snippet with Archimedes. And then essentially from the moment that the resolution, it's over, he has that conversation with Archimedes all the way up to the credits roll. I kind of
Mm.
I think that is very endearing. The callback to them on the train, where he's like, it hurts everywhere. And, going through the different things that he does now instead of her. I love that.
Yeah.
Because their chemistry was still really good. I really love that part. That's probably one of my favorites. I loved the Dial of Destiny, the adventure of finding the pieces of the Dial of Destiny. I thought that was a lot of fun. Like I was like, oh, this feels like Indiana Jones. This like,
Yeah.
hey, we're putting this mystery together and trying to figure out exactly how to solve this. Really love that part of it. And I love that the theme that does, yes, get lost is regret.
Mm.
I love that theme. It's just not really hyper realized, I think, enough.
Yeah, no, the metaphor of like, if I could turn back time
Yep.
while
Yeah.
I have all these regrets. Like I see the vision. I do see the vision.
Yeah. If I could turn back.
Yes, that song.
Honestly, I
I'm
was shocked
also
we didn't
putting.
have
That's
that
part of my rap.
Mhm.
That's the end credit scene.
That would be a good way to
Uh.
send Indiana Jones out too.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Love it. Man.
What else you got? I agree. The especially old Indy, letting him or forcing him into the position where it's like, will you choose to continue on
Yeah.
for the sake of the things you love?
Yes.
And I love the way that that's really phrased towards the audience as well. It's
Yep.
like this is being sent out to the older members of the audience to be like,
Yes.
are you gonna fucking go regress?
Yep. The best part of that being done, the best execution of that is when they're on the boat and Helena and him are having that conversation.
Yeah.
And he says, I would go back and I would tell my son that he was going to die. I was like, that is the best part of this, where you're trying to really hone in on the fact that Indy's not okay. Like, he's not okay at all. And we're just not hitting it. I also love that someone finally cast Antonio Banderas as a fucking Spaniard for the first time in his goddamn acting career. Someone said, isn't he from Spain? Maybe let's make him Spanish. And that is what he was. Outside of Puss
I
in Boots.
I thought he played a Spaniard in that awful Uncharted movie.
Also Puss in Boots.
Oh yeah, Puss in Boots.
He's had 3 roles where he's fucking actually Spanish.
Well,
that's great.
He finally made the hat trick. There you go.
He finally got 3 roles, baby.
That's right. That's right.
Origin. Because Latino people hate that shit. I don't know if people understand. Latino people hate it when Spanish people play Latinos, because the Spaniards are the oppressors of the Latino.
Yeah.
Like, so to them, it's an insult that you keep hiring Spaniards to play Latin American actors. Like,
it's like British people being hired to play Irish roles, and it's like,
come
on, guys, come on.
They hate that shit.
It's not the same.
Yep. That shit is awful. So when they finally, and so a lot of Latino Americans, a lot of Latinos and Latinas, they hate Antonio Banderas because he, I think, knowingly took these roles too, in a sense.
I'm sure the Germans don't have a problem with British people playing Nazis. It's kind of like, we deserve it.
Also, I don't think Mads Mikkelsen gives a shit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, can we talk about Mads Mikkelsen not giving a fuck about this movie?
Yeah.
God damn. How zoned out can you be?
Can we get to the negatives? Because I have one quiet one that bothers me so much.
Jesus Christ, these two are biting at the chop. Okay, let me compliment
There's more
the movie.
negatives than positives, dude.
Let me compliment the movie one more time for the fans, just so we don't lose anybody as we go into the back half here. Nobody's brought up Toby Jones or Boyd Holbrook. I was very happy to see them here. Toby Jones, perfect in the Indiana Jones setting. I don't know how it hasn't happened sooner. Truly, like, he feels like he fits right in. He could have been a assistant to Indiana Jones over the years. Like, I love Toby Jones. I'm a big fan.
I love how this whole movie is like retroactively adding in, oh yes, my goddaughter that I never mentioned in my 4 previous adventures, or my best friend Toby Jones, who I've never mentioned in my 4 previous adventures.
Toby Jones, who clearly has helped me multiple times.
Of course, we promise.
I hope he's in Great Circle. I hope he's in Great Circle.
Yeah, it would be cool to bring that character in across. Maybe even find out why he's the godfather of Shaw. You know what I mean? That would be cool.
Yep.
Again, we're naming things the movie should have done. I also kind of want to compliment the movie for killing off Shia LaBeouf.
Thank you.
I remember sitting in the theater being like, damn, James Mangold is making a statement here.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I actually have a problem with that.
Really?
Really?
Wait. Before Jesse goes off and does his normal thing, just wait.
For the character, not the actor.
The character deserved better than the actor's scumminess, which is why one of my pitches, he is still alive.
And recast him?
Good.
And it's Chris Evans.
Ooh.
Oh. Wow. Woo. Wow. Okay.
Because he'd be an absolute lady killer, just like his dad.
Bingo!
Okay, I'm imagining a scene where, like, they have to seduce opposition, and it's like, old Silver Fox versus young Stallion. That could be so fun. Okay, I like that. I dig that.
Jesus Christ.
Also, he would have put butts in seats.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
True.
He would put butts in seats. He always puts butts in seats. Chris Evans puts butts in seats. So
there also has to be a Phoebe Waller-Bridges Chris Evans ship on the internet somewhere. So
Oh my
like,
God.
we're making at least one person happy.
Yeah, just wait until you get to. Oh boy, one of the pitches you're gonna love it.
All right. I see the clock has switched over the 30-minute mark, so it is time for the back half of the review.
Yay.
All right, guys. Why are you drinking today, Fresco?
Okay, here's my review. 1, boring. 2, sad. 3, depressing. 4, pathetic. 5, too long. 6, Sala was underused. 7, green screen everywhere. 8, 7, who is the audience for this piece of shit?
My best take on this, I think it either you texted it to me or something, which was, this is, oh no, you posted on your Instagram, this is a great movie to scroll on your phone.
Yeah.
And
I did when I rewatched it today. I was like, oh yeah, that's going on. Back to my phone.
Damn, that's truly like there's nothing more airplane movie than a movie that you can scroll on your phone to.
That's definitely an airplane movie.
God, it's so boring.
That's an insult to airplane movies. Speed Racer is a great airplane movie. That's 2 hours of just.
Dude, if I was watching it on an airplane, I'd want to jump out and skydive.
That's why I was like, no, it's not.
Fuck yes!
My phone's not working because the Wi-Fi shit was fucking flight.
Welcome to Spirit Airlines, where you can fly yourself because we don't want to do it for you.
I'll land in the pool, Ma. Just make sure you take the cover off.
Oh,
yeah. Like, who is the audience for this?
Yeah, it's very nostalgia dripped, also with like so much big, robust Disney blockbuster, like. Oddly,
like kids don't care about this. Kids don't care about this character. They don't give a shit. They want Nathan Drake from Uncharted or they want Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. They don't give a shit about Indiana Jones. This is made for us, but we're looking at it being like, this isn't Raiders. This isn't Last Crusade. Like, what is this thing? Like, it just it alienates both sides of the aisle. Kids don't want it. We look at it and we're like, it's not entertaining. Like, who is this for?
It was for Mike to watch 8 times, I guess.
I will probably end up watching it at least 10 times.
I will definitely see it again, regardless of how this next section goes. I will definitely watch it again.
I'll probably rewatch it because I'll rewatch all of them at some point. That's also
you're gonna skip Crystal Skull.
I have multiple times.
Yeah, just skip it. Nothing changes.
When we first announced that we were doing this, and I was like, I'm doing that. Literally rewatch the first 3, and I get to the 4th one, and I have it up, and I'm like stopped, and Alicia looks at me and goes, "You gonna watch that one?"
Yeah.
No, I don't think I want to.
Yeah, I just saw that they apparently not long ago released the box set of all these movies, and I was like, oh, look at that! They re-released the Indiana Jones trilogy on Blu-ray with 2 drink coasters. How about that? That's so sweet of them. How great for us.
That's a good joke. That's a good fucking joke.
You're welcome.
God, Crystal Skull is so bad.
Here's the biggest problem with these movies is that the first 3 movies, the opening action scene isn't connected to the rest of the plot.
No.
But in Crystal Skull, it's the main focus of the plot. And in this one, the Dial of Destiny is connected to the plot.
Yep.
So it's almost like you don't get any chance to just like sit in your seat and get emotionally invested with it. You're like, yeah, let's go on another adventure. It's just another adventure. It's like, no, it doesn't feel like that because he's an 85-year-old man that's barely able to do this shit.
That is, I think, my along the lines of my biggest complaint, which is, honestly, I could forgive the janky CGI if this were built around like the next Indiana Jones property, like a younger actor being cast in, and like Harrison Ford is famous for fucking hating his characters and being like, I'm not that guy. I'm not going to. Indiana Jones is, I think, the one where he has like said, you can't cast Chris Pratt. But that was it. That's all he's said.
He has 2 characters that he likes. He loved Indiana Jones, and he loves his character in Shrinking because it's basically just Harrison.
That's right.
He just a dude that just chills and gets high all the time. It's all he is.
He's so good. But this is Michael's
When he shows
annual
up
time.
to the party totally baked, that is probably the best acting I've ever seen from him. Why do you have sunglasses on? It's nighttime. I don't know. It's very bright.
The misuse of the word raw dogging
Oh my
all
god.
the fucking time. You need
That's
to
not
watch
what raw
Shrinking.
dogging means.
Fucking
You
watch
use sex
Shrinking.
without a condom.
You're
And,
gonna
like-
cry, laugh, and cry in general. It's so
Yeah.
Mike,
good.
you're pointing out the fact that like Harrison Ford is not a bygone actor by any means. He is still a fantastic.
He's still active.
Right.
So to have this movie be so like kind of flat throughout,
Yeah.
and it's like, why not pass this role off to somebody who's really biting for it? It's somebody that can like really bring something to it, even if they don't look just like him. Put him in the fucking suit and hat. I'm going to buy in that this is Indiana Jones.
The reason why I said
Yeah.
Chris Evans for my recast is because Chris Evans is such a malleable and likable person. Or because I know that they love each other, Ryan Gosling could also be that role because Harrison fucking loves Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
So
Dude, I saw Fall Guy.
ah, you see what I'm saying? That movie is so good.
It was fucking fantastic, and I agree. Yeah, Ryan Gosling could run this. He could run that show.
Gosling would be great, and
he's like the
likes him.
perfect person. Yeah,
Yes.
his personality and his whole like anti-machismo thing
Yes.
would be so good.
That's why Harrison likes him. Is he's not trying to be the ultimate alpha dude. He's just trying to be a dude who's just a rat. Like he loves the way Ryan goes with the flow. And so if we're gonna cast somebody to either be his son, take up the mantle, I think it would be somebody that Harrison likes, which Harrison loves Ryan Gosling. So that would be the person to do it. Also, Ryan at that point before Fall Guy, Ryan is fucking bankable.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm still shocked that people. I get why Fall Guy didn't make money. I kind of get. I think it'll make its money in digital. That's why.
Oh, 100%, dude. That is going to have a cult life because of how much it loves stunt people.
Yeah.
That movie is a meta conversation about filmmaking, and it is fantastic. And you have to watch that movie. It's so good.
It's also, I think, like the film industry right now is going through a massive shift. Huge shift. Like George Lucas just came out and said, "Look, AI in film, it's inevitable. It's going to happen." I saw Furiosa on Friday. Guess what I saw in the credits? Remember this, Seth? AI visual effects. It's in the movie. You're never going to escape it. It's going to happen. I haven't been on a film set since January of last year.
Wow.
That I've never been on a film set since then. A lot of people are out of work. They've lost their homes. They've lost their jobs. Like I've done like corporate stuff and stagehand work. It's not what I want to do, but it's consistent.
Yeah.
This industry is now going through a massive shift where a lot of these properties that used to be bankable about 10 years ago, they don't make money anymore. And it's because a lot of stuff is being dumped to streaming very quickly.
Yep.
Like Fall Guy went to streaming like what, two weeks after it bombed at the box office, which is like, guys, just let it stay in theaters for a month. See how it does. Like I can guarantee Furiosa, while it didn't do great on opening weekend, it's going to make its money. It'll be fine.
The thing is that Fury Road didn't make it didn't get all of its money back in theaters. But when that sumbitch hit physical.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Because they put out multiple versions. They put out the original version, the Chrome edition, like
well, it's like 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
20th Century Fox for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's made back its money, but they have already talked about how they're in the physical version of the release of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. There's going to be a version of this movie where there is no ape CGI.
Oh,
so
that's
like,
cool. The actual
performance. Talking about the physical release of that.
That's dope.
And that is such a cool idea. And that is what
see how the process happens and how it's made. Okay.
Yeah, people want
also to like just to see the. I bet this is for Oscars. If I had to guess, I bet that's for the Oscars because then you can get their actual actor performance submitted to the Oscars.
I agree. Kevin Durant should win an Oscar for fucking Proxima.
Circus should have won an Oscar for that, dude.
Circus deserves a retroactive like
he was cheated, dude.
Yeah, he deserves a retroactive like big shout out from
Circus deserves a lifetime achievement award because he has changed the way that we approach CGI characters and a lot of things. And he is like, I mean, these Planet of the Apes movies are revolutionary. And
Well,
they're
and,
like,
like-
we want to make 9. I'm like, fucking inject them
Sure,
straight
why
in my
not?
veins.
Dude,
Fucking, I'm here for that because these look awesome. And then there's
Imagine-
this movie.
Imagine if the Oscars added a CGI performance Oscar in for
I love
Andy
a
Serkis,
performance
like it
capture
dedicated
role.
to Andy
Yeah.
Serkis. Like
Even if it's just performance, a performance, like not a live action performance, but an animated or CGI performance category. Like
Sure.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is CGI monkeys, and it cost $160 million.
Yeah.
How the fuck is this movie $300 million?
That's right. That's right.
like Dune is under $200 million to make.
Yeah.
It's
and,
just
and their CGI don't look like
their
shit.
CGI
Yeah.
don't look like shit at all. Like this is another example of Disney's lazy CGI approach, and they're rushing out of product because
Yeah.
they're fucking stupid. I now know that Marvel and Kevin Feige has said that they're slowing down. Great idea. Fucking slow the fuck down. Okay? There's
Yeah.
no reason to rush out 20 to 30 fucking movies a year.
We were just talking about that on the X-Men episode. It's
Yeah.
it's good to see them hit the brakes.
Yeah, flooding
you
the
know what?
market means that you're gonna get less people in the theater to watch this stuff, and that's I think the big problem when this came out. It was just a ton of these kinds of movies. It's like all
a
this
lot.
big shit everywhere. It's like
That was
Dude.
that June that had Flash, Elemental, this. It had like there was something every week.
Yeah.
it's like come on, man. Then that's why I think that things like A24 and Neon, like they're taking over being better films because hey, they're letting their directors just do their own thing.
Right.
They're not
There's
high
a-
budgeted. The highest budgeted film from A24 was Civil War. It's already made its budget back and profit.
Yeah. What was that?
I didn't care for the movie, but hey,
It's
That budget
bankable.
was not
it's
very
bankable.
high either.
Yeah, it's 60 million. Already made it back.
Nice.
Not that much, and it looks good. I will not
That's great.
criticize the visual effects. It is a good looking movie. Looks amazing. I just wish that the movie took a fucking stance on politics.
Well,
How do you have an
listen,
apolitical Civil War film?
I don't know. Ask Ubisoft how many times they've made apolitical fucking games that are clearly supposed to be political.
Right.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Hey, did you see that the next Call of Duty Black Ops 6 apparently takes place on 9/11?
I absolutely do not give a shit about.
I'm
anything.
not
Oh,
kidding.
dude.
There's a 9/11 mission in the game.
Oh god. of
So
course it is.
Fuck you.
Oh my god.
Fuck you.
Fucking good. Whatever. They added Gundam, and I went, "Wow, we're really reaching for content now." Gundam.
Right.
Oh god, Cheech and Chong showing up was pretty funny though.
All right. So somehow we've gotten to Planet of the Apes and now over into
Well,
Cheech and Chong. I'm gonna reel us
I
back
did
in.
Planet of the Apes because I want to highlight just how terribly budgeted this movie is.
Yeah.
Over
it's
$300 million to make a terrible looking film.
Yeah.
It is absolutely gross to look at. There's so much green screen and so much
See this?
on
I need more alcohol now.
on a fucking set. Like obviously on a set on a non-moving, fake motorcycle. going
Harrison
down-
Ford's 85. He can't do it anymore.
He doesn't have to. He just needs to be on the front of the camera when I pan. You don't have to make Harrison Ford do all the stunts if you do the movie closer to The Last Crusade and it's like a passing of the guard. That's
Yeah.
why I wanted to cast somebody like a Chris Evans or Ryan Gosling
Yeah.
because they're doing all the stunts and Harrison's just one of my pitches. Harrison Ford is in a very dark place. A very dark place.
Ooh.
And it's just you can do these things cheap. You do
Yeah.
not have to risk the life of your 85-year-old star to make these things possible. You can absolutely do them in a way where he is not involved in a lot of that necessary stunt work.
Right.
And then you don't have to rely on CGI. And then you can film on location. And then you can do this. And because of that, just by changing one aspect of this movie, I would cut the budget by like $100 million. Because
Right.
I just took out the reliance of CGI from at least a third of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's insane. It's insane that I looked at that budget and I went, how? How the
Yeah.
fuck did you? And then you watch that movie and you're like, oh, because it's all fake. Because
Yeah.
there's nothing real about this movie.
Isn't Raiders just so quaint by today's comparison?
Oh,
Jesus
God.
Christ.
So I want to
love
touch
it.
on that fakeness real quick because something happened to me in the theater watching this movie where I made a connection.
Were you one of 3 people in the theater watching this?
Hey, 5
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, actually, I was alone in my theater when I watched it.
Wow! Yeah, damn,
And I had
dude.
2 people in my theater, myself and my wife. Thank
Oh
you.
wow! So okay,
Congratulations.
follow me on this journey. I've always had this chip on my shoulder for game trailers that release with excellent CGI footage, and then the game looks like fucking League of Legends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That there's
So
a tonal
Overwatch.
disconnect that happens for me. I think it's cool that they give animators an opportunity to take these characters and do something with them. I'm not opposed to like the art of it, but inevitably what happens is you watch a lot of CGI action sequences in these trailers, right? And there was a bit, and I think you guys mentioned it earlier, where Indiana Jones falls through a roof.
The castle scene in the opening.
And I was like, this looks like an Unreal Engine 5 game trailer that I'm watching right now.
Don't insult Unreal Engine 5. That shit actually looks good. That's Unreal Engine 4. Thank you.
It looks fake.
Awful.
It looks
Yes.
very fake. And so here's what I propose. I will watch your Unreal Engine CGI sequences in your movie. I'll watch them, but we have to putting percents onto our movies on the bottom of the poster, like a carton of milk that's like action sequences, 75% practical, 25% CGI. You got to do it like the meat in the grocery store. I need to know, is this a 90-20? Is this a 80-20? Is this a 75-25?
Yeah.
Is this a real lean 95-5 where it's mostly practical work? I need that put on the bottom of the fucking poster. So in my head, I can go, okay, I can sit through this entirely CGI sequence in an action movie where we should have practical sequences since they fucking invented them for Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that means that all of Marvel shit is basically like 90% CGI, 10% practical. Everybody else was just hanging out in their trailer.
Oh my
Exactly.
God.
And
Some
so
of that,
I need to know if it's got movie trans fats in it. I need to know, is this 90% CGI? Cool, I'll watch it, but you got to tell me because that way I know what I'm ingesting.
If I'm gonna watch 90% CGI, aka Avatar, which
The
by the way,
Flash.
Avatar's budget was $350 to $460 million. How the fuck is Indiana Jones 5's budget that close to fucking Avatar?
Yeah, were they
Yeah.
like inventing new technology for Avatar? What new technology came out of Indiana Jones
the
5?
fuck?
Nothing.
And also, Avatar 2 is fucking gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Here's an idea. Why don't you just make this an animated movie? If you're gonna just CGI 90% of this fucking thing, I will accept an animated Indiana Jones movie. I'll accept it. We're getting it with the game. Well, I'll be like that. That way, you can keep Harrison Ford around. You can keep him young. Yeah, okay. His voice isn't complete when he's young Indiana Jones. Young Indiana
But
Jones.
do you know how
His
cheap
voice
it is
sounds
to
like
do
an
that?
85-year-old man because he's clearly
But
been
that's-
smoking a little too much.
But that's cheaper. You can
That's cheaper!
make somebody's voice sound younger than making their fucking face and body look young.
There is the place to put AI.
I was just
Fixing
about to
his
say that.
voice.
You motherfucker. I was literally about to say that.
Fixing his voice. Like they did that in Top Gun Maverick when Val Kilmer has to speak because he doesn't have a voice anymore. They used an AI generated voice to give him lines. Like
Yeah.
that's the only way you could do that. That I will accept.
Actor that owns the voice too. I think.
Yes,
that's
and like
ethical.
he approved it. He's like, yes,
He
I
approved it.
understand.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so that's the place to do this. Why they did this live action, I don't understand. Especially like Mangold is a talented filmmaker, very
Yeah.
talented. Like he came
Fucking
like-
Logan.
like I was just watching Logan the other night. It's impressive. Like that was like a $90 million movie, pretty quaint for the bloated Marvel shit we get now.
Right.
Like, whereas you look at this and it's like, what
Ugh.
is this just like a case of a director on set being told to just say action and all the producers are standing behind him? Okay, yeah, we have Harrison for another 4 hours, get his shot done. Okay, bring him the stunt actor with the creepy looking face. Okay. All right. Was it time for lunch yet? Okay, where's the cocaine? I need some cocaine, folks.
It's ketamine now. Okay, they're doing the tranquilizers. We need downers.
We need downers on this one because it's so boring.
Was he like
How do you
Francis Ford
put this
Coppola?
much shit in your movie and it's fucking boring?
Francis Ford Coppola when he's just in his trailer for Megalopolis smoking for most
Oh
of it.
god, yeah, we were talking about that the other night. I'm not going to go see Megalopolis because don't know if you guys know this. Francis Ford Coppola defended Victor Salva, who was the director of the Jeepers Creepers films, who was a pedophile, and he went to jail for 3 years. And when he got out, Coppola gave him a job again. He's like, no, he's a very talented filmmaker, dude. He molested a 12-year-old on the set of Jeepers Creepers.
Dude. He's a bad pedophile too. He's
yeah.
ferociously bad.
So yeah, Megalopolis. Sorry, Coppola. Fuck you. I'm not paying to see it. Your $120 million flop can get flushed down the toilet.
That's why you were like, I'm gonna see this. I'm like, you are?
The more I thought about it, the more I was kind of like, you know what? You're an asshole. I don't really want to see this. I'm tired of giving people breaks because of bad behavior. Like, oh, well, no, that's just his opinion. No. It has to stop. Dead stop.
Yeah.
Dead stop. Not doing it. Not doing it anymore.
It's why I was a big purveyor of Rurouni Kenshin. I love those live actions. But then when I found out just how bad that mangaka was, I was like, yeah, I can't support this anymore. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Like,
that's
like
disgusting.
Borderlands with Eli Roth. I'm not going to go see that. Fuck him. Like, fuck all this shit, dude.
Nope.
I'm done. I'm
Also,
absolutely done.
Borderlands looks bad because it just looks like Guardians of the Galaxy in the desert.
It looks so trash stupid.
It looks like this. It looks like this. It's CGI fucking everywhere.
I wanted to see it. That if you ever looked at a movie and went, Michael wants to watch this 800 times, that's that Borderlands movie. But I despise Eli Roth with a fiery passion, and so I'm like, the moment he was announced as director, I went, fuck, I'm not seeing this piece of shit. Fuck him.
Yeah.
I do not like him. I don't think he's a good director. I think he overuses gore just to use gore, and it's
the only
lazy.
time I liked one of his movies was Hostel, the first one, because it's like it has some interesting ideas in it. That one I'll give a pass to, but just his personality, he's such a fucking scumbag.
It's Kevin Hart for me. His movies suck.
Yeah. I hate Melissa McCarthy. You hate Kevin Hart. There they are. That's the ones.
I don't really hate actors. Well, no, I do. Matt Smith. I fucking can't stand him. He doesn't know how to act.
Aren't you glad that he never ended up as Palpatine, like they were saying?
Oh God!
The only thing he has is an interesting voice. That's it. He looks like he's been doing drugs for far too long, and he cannot act. He's just. Oh, I fucking hate him.
That's why they cast him as. That's why they cast him as Skynet in that awful Terminator movie.
He's just got a voice. That's the only reason why you cast him in anything. Like, he's so fucking terrible in House of the Dragons. I want to punch him in the face.
Well, House of the Dragons isn't very good either.
He's lazily evil.
Lazily?
It's very lazy. It's so lazy the way he's
why he was in Morbius. Lazily evil for a lazy movie.
But I think James Mangold was pushed out a lot by Disney.
Yeah, he's
budgets this big. They usually don't let the director do anything they want.
They just scream that DC level of interference.
Yeah,
just scream that level of interference to me nowadays.
It's just I just don't see the point of doing this with Indiana Jones. Like the first 3 movies, like they're not high budget films. Like they're still considered technical marvels. Indiana, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, is considered one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah,
still. I mean, like, I'm not sure why it's not in Criterion. It really should be, because it's a piece of film history. We would not have action films if we didn't have that.
Just to put it into perspective, the Uncharted movie was $120 million.
Wow.
Also having Antonio Banderas in it.
A third of the fucking budget. A third of the budget. It looks better. Way better.
It does.
Like, yes, there are some.
I still don't care for the movie, but I agree, it looks better.
But
it arguably better set pieces too.
There's practical sequences in that film. The sequence in the auction house when he's going between all the light bulbs that are hanging from the ceiling, like that's awesome.
Love it.
Great sequence. I wish it wasn't Tom Holland, but I'll let it go.
Yep, I love that. Like I could make Indiana Jones 5 for $100 for that budget with that budget.
Yeah,
easily. I don't need $300 million.
Yeah,
it's absurd to me. Watching that movie, it's like, I am one of those people who does roll my eyes when people say, "Oh, you're hurting the legacy of blah." I felt pain watching this movie, going, "These movies were never about big budgets."
Yeah.
And
No.
it feels like you
About
don't
creativity, solving problems.
you don't understand what Indiana Jones is. You're trying to, and I see little peeks through that you do get what Indiana Jones is, but then you made this movie an atrocious mess.
Yeah.
And, just can't.
Just the creativity of solving problems. Going back to Raiders, like the sword fight sequence. That was that sequence was shot, and they were going to do another take of it. And the reason they didn't do it again is because Harrison Ford had dysentery and had to take a shit.
Yeah, he
had to take a shit, and he's like, "Why don't I just shoot him?" And it's one of the best moments in the movie. We cut out a giant sequence. It saved a ton of money, and we don't have to indulge in it. This movie is the opposite of that. Overindulgence.
There's one. And it's the Athena water displacement scene.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's it. That's the only one though. That's it.
It's the only practical set in the whole movie.
It's like the only practical set in the movie, and I'm like, why does this look so good? Oh, because this is the only Indiana Jones-esque part of this Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, this feels like an Indiana Jones paint by numbers that had a better script previous. Like Mangold probably submitted a really, really cool, Indiana Jones is going to come to terms with his age kind of story. And then it's but also you have to do all the paint by numbers Indiana Jones stuff.
That just triggers something for me. There was apparently a version of this story where there was some object he was coming closer and more in contact with that it would de-age him or something like that. Yeah. I'm guessing that was the Spear of Destiny. I'm guessing that's a reference to the previous scripts. Yeah, he was going to find some ancient artifact, and as he got closer to it, it would de-age him or something. So he'd have young Harrison Ford as at the climax of the story.
Yeah, that was one.
I was hey, remember the good old days when we used to do this? I guess that was nixed because they said it was too expensive, even though this movie's way over budget.
Well, it was nixed because that was actually the concept for 4.
Oh, that was concept for 4. Oh,
1995.
Oh,
so
God.
Way back there, and then it just sat, and then it was just that's gonna be too expensive to do now.
What? Yeah. But can I ask questions? Why do they think it's so hard to make these stories? It's if Tomb Raider could do this for God knows how many games, coming up with random stuff that you just make up. A lot of the shit in those Tomb Raider games, they just made it up. The first game, by the way, involves aliens. It involves aliens. You could get away with this if you just set it up appropriately.
And the new one involves magic. And then it just her having PTSD from the fact that, oh my fucking God, magic fucking exists.
Well, except for the movie adaptation where they said, no, it's not magic. It was just a virus. Fuck that movie.
Don't you fucking dare. I have said this before,
the whole story.
And I'll say it again. The first hour of that movie is so good, and then when it's revealed her fucking father's alive, I think I said this to Seth, there's 2 writers attached to that movie, one man and one woman. It felt like the first hour was written by the woman, and the second hour was written by the fucking man, because she becomes the most codependent of her goddamn father I have ever seen in my life, and I wanted to fucking scream. I walked out of that movie theater ready to fight someone, because it pissed me the fuck off. The first half of that movie is so fucking good, and then her father's alive. Fuck that goddamn movie.
Yeah. Also, by the way, you've actually seen the final shot of that Tomb Raider movie in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
By the way, I'll take 2. Final shot, go to credits. Are you serious? So now we get to have Lara Croft. Oh, fuck off.
Well, she wasn't really Lara Croft on that island in the first game either. That's what kind of made her into the Lara that we know.
It's fair. But yeah, I don't... Why is it so hard to make these?
Honestly,
it shouldn't.
I think what it is there's nothing against it anymore. Making the making of Raiders is so famously difficult. They were
epically difficult.
Yeah, they were really overcoming everything to get that made. So it feels like
there's books written about it, dude. It's insane. Like we said, we were talking about Furiosa off air and how much of a pain in the ass Fury Road was. There's that book, Blood, Sweat, and Chrome. It is a miserable nightmare that they went through. Everybody's fighting. It's hot. The film almost got shut down multiple times. Like, it actually was shut down, but the producer lied about the vehicles being shipped overseas. The ship hadn't left port yet with all the vehicles, but he lied and said, "Oh, well, it's already been shipped overseas. It's going to cost more to turn it around and bring it back."
Yep.
Technically, the film had been canceled, and he just lied and said it would be cheaper to just keep going.
He saved
that movie. Thank you. I will blow you if I ever meet you in person, dude.
That producer did God's work because Fury.
You are doing God's work.
He's doing that future math, man. He was going, yeah, you know what? If I lie right here, we still get to make the movie.
We still get to make the movie. Yeah, and that's the thing about Raiders, that it was a miserable slog to do it. Yeah, Temple of Doom got a little easier, but still painful. Indy 3. Last Crusade was got a little easier. It's a little bit on easy street, but it's still a fun movie. And
but
then
it's
you get
supposed to be. It's the end of the trilogy, right? Like they've earned it by that point.
Yeah, and then you get to 4, and it's like, oh, now we're in just CGI extravaganza.
It went from set pieces to sets. That's where that switch happens.
It went from director freedom and creativity to corporate studio executive interference and uncreative laziness.
And I remember, how sad is the business that Spielberg is getting bullied around by executives,
dude?
Jesus,
like, and it's so sad that no one else is making shit like this either. Like, this is such an impossible...
There's no audience.
Well, not there. I mean, like in the adventure Indiana Jones, like globe-trotting.
Oh, yeah. Uncharted proved. Uncharted made $400 million on a $120 million budget. There is an audience for it.
Yeah, there's an audience for it. We want this stuff, but we want it practical too. We want to like feel the texture of these foreign places.
And we were still getting in other forms. We were getting like before he passed away, Clive Cussler with his Dirk Pitt novels. Yep. You know, we were still getting those. I mean, they're not great books. They're kind of like pulpy. You can buy them in a grocery store. Like, they're those kinds of books. You know,
but they're Indiana Jones is pulpy. That's
why they're fun.
Source material.
They know what they are.
I think you can do fun globe-trotting adventures still in the movie world. They just have to be executed better. And I think that's the problem is your execution these days has to be perfect. Yeah. Uncharted has a big fan base. So when that movie came out, and it's not bad, and it is very practical. It was somehow made for under $200 million with all the fucking chaos that apparently took to get that movie to be made. That is like
why did that take forever? Why did that thing take forever?
It was just took forever, and it still turned out competent.
It's fine
with practicality. When you do practicality in these movies, which unfortunately means that Harrison needs to take a back seat. He can still be there, but he can take a back seat. He can be. I mean, honestly, you could pay homage to The Last Crusade and have him be more like his father. You can absolutely. I mean, especially one of my pitches. There's a reason why he is more like his father, because it's just. You don't need there is a reason you can do this. So that way your studio insurances aren't going, that's a fucking 85-year-old man.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't.
The insurance on this must have been like half the budget.
The insurance was probably insane on this movie. And so if you execute the script better, the insurance companies, you're like, no, he's over there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay,
Indiana Jones is getting to like narrate and like make fun of our new hero for being put in the same situations that he survived, right?
Yeah. Did you guys watch that movie I recommended, Mr. Holmes? Did you watch that?
I did not get a chance to.
No, it's on Prime. I want to watch that.
It's free on Prime. Okay, so the general premise is that it was based on a book that was, because Sherlock Holmes is public domain at this point. You can do whatever you want with it. The general premise is that it's Sherlock Holmes after he's retired and he's starting to get dementia. He's beginning to develop dementia and he's forgetting things. So the world's greatest detective can't detect anymore. Like he's in that point, and there's just one case that's bugging him. This one case that apparently Watson wrote a book about his last case, and it was wrong. The interpretation of it. Apparently, Holmes fucked up and got a woman killed because he told her the truth. She was apparently distraught about the stillborn deaths of her 2 kids, and her husband was their marriage was failing, and so he basically told her bluntly, like, like, you should go home to your husband. He loves you. And then she jumps in front of a train.
Whoa.
So he felt such guilt about that he became a recluse, got away from society, and as time has gone on, he's become more and more of a hermit, and he starts to develop bad dementia.
I gotta watch.
And
that.
So he starts writing a book in the vein of the Sherlock Holmes novels to tell the true story of what happened.
Especially with Ian McKellen being...
he's perfectly cast. Perfectly cast.
Yeah.
The moment you sent that to me, I pulled it up and I went, well, I'm going to watch this because Ian McKellen. But
it's not long either. It's not long either. It's very good. Yeah.
When you sent it to me, I was like, fuck, am I going to have to pirate this? And then I immediately found it on Prime for free. And I went, I'm going to watch this at some point. But
that's what they should have done
for this. But
that's what they should have done with Indiana Jones. That's what they should have done. He's a great historian that's forgetting all of history. That's your way of getting around it. Like, yeah, he's an old man. Play into it. Play into the fact that he's an old man. He can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My pitch is so good.
I think it's time to move over to the pitches. I did want to circle back on why Uncharted took so long, and it has to do with Fortnite.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
So
was it rights issues and shit like that?
Yeah. So anytime you're adapting a video game into a movie, the movie company is going to, especially if it's like a child-oriented, they're going to want to make merch around it, not just T-shirts, but like action figures and like physical merch things. And so you have to basically split the toy box. You have to figure out like this version of this character from the movie in toy form, profit goes to this company in this amount, and it's like a litigious mess. Fortnite comes along and says, we have a new way to do this where we can share IP, where you just keep everything, and then we have the system for you to promote through, essentially. Fortnite is a video game skeleton that promotes through IP structures. So once that moves through, that allows for people to figure out how to split the toy box a little easier. So then you see Borderlands gets greenlit, Uncharted gets greenlit, Warhammer gets greenlit. Like all the video game things can get greenlit now.
Like, there is a negative. A lot of people don't like Fortnite, but Fortnite did do some good for that and allowing. I mean, look at what Call of Duty's doing it now too, because they took up that Fortnite model.
Yep.
And so it's bad because you're like, oh my god, really? But
it's a really twisted marketing machine.
It is, but it's also kind of a good thing. Like, Warhammer 40K and Mobile Suit Gundam are in Call of Duty. While I don't agree with them being in COD, I think Fortnite would have been better for them and their audiences.
Helldivers would have been a better place to put it, goddammit.
Helldivers for both of those would have been fucking awesome.
Because they really need the money now, dude.
Both of them would have been awesome in those things. It's the 45th anniversary of Gundam this year to begin with. It's a perfect time to just shove that fucking thing anywhere, but Bandai sucks.
Or even just Gundam-themed armor for Helldivers would have been dope. You know?
I guarantee, considering the fact that the player base is completely fucked, like, we're barely finishing missions now because everyone's gone. I guarantee they're going to have to do it at some point. They're out of money. They're running. There's no way they're not running out of money.
I'll come back if you put Gundam in that.
Right?
Hey, we'll see. Hey, they just added a new mech, and it fucking sucks. God damn it!
In there, I'll play that fucker.
And it still can't pierce armor. You pricks!
All right, let's get on the rails for Michael's pitch.
I'll say one more positive.
Okay. Oh sure. Oh, positive.
I like the it's goofy as fuck, but the time travel back to the Battle of Syracuse.
Love that.
It's so silly. And it plays into it so hard. Like when Boyd Holbrook punches out the window and starts shooting Roman soldiers. Why? Why? Who gives a shit?
Why are you shooting them, you fuck?
They don't know what you are.
He's
calling you a dragon on the ground.
I mean, I will say that corresponds to a negative is that the time travel in this movie makes zero sense. It's that causality loop that doesn't make sense. Like, it wouldn't have already happened because it hasn't happened yet.
Well, there's two reasons for them being there. That's the best part. That's the other reason why I made two pitches. I made one with the pitch being that the reason why they fail is the continental shift, And then I made another pitch that was the fact that the Dial of Destiny, if you paid attention at the end, what Helena says is, "Oh my God, the dial was only ever meant to come back here because we were meant to bring the dial to Archimedes so he can get the true inspiration for his dial and finish it."
Oh,
That's
they're
not
in
how
a
that.
bootstrap. They're in a
They
bootstrap.
it's a bootstrap. Yeah, it's
It's
a
a bootstrap.
causality loop where it's meant to occur. Like she
Yeah.
even says, like it's a fixed timeline or it's a locked timeline.
They have two that they put in here. The reason why they went back there was because of continental drift, and Archimedes made it happen that way because that's how he learns about the thing. So it's the bootstrap. Yeah. So I made two.
So if
One
Indiana
around
Jones
each.
never figures out the continental drift thing, do they still go back there?
Correct. There's because yeah, that's the thing. The continental drift does not matter because
No.
there is no such thing as time travel. This whole thing was meant to. The only thing that he figured out was how to get back to that point.
Ah, okay, okay.
And also continental drift as an excuse. Continents take millions of years to shift. 2,000 years wouldn't have shifted that much. It would have shifted,
1
yes.
to 2 degree. It's about 1 to 2
It
degrees.
wouldn't have been
Yeah.
that
He
much.
said
I feel
10
like it's-
degrees, and I was like, it's probably like 2.
Yeah, it's not that much. Takes millions of years to shift things. It took a
Yeah.
long time for continents to drift away from Pangea. Long time. But anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts. The movie's boring. It sucks.
No, yeah, I like,
here's the
I like
question.
that he's an archaeologist in the past. Like that is such a dream come true for the character. I get the move to do that. I personally I don't like the time travel. I think there's a better thing to do here. But like if we're keeping the plot with time travel, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Me. Like it makes sense to the MacGuffin. It makes sense to the character. It makes sense to what we're doing here. So I don't hate it.
You did bring up one other thing I wanted to point out is that you say he's a character. I don't think he's a character. Because
the history of the character. Let me put it that way.
The character itself. Yeah, I see you smiling there, Mike. I see you smiling. He's not like look at the character from the first 3 movies. He's suave, he's handsome, he has money, he travels the world, he punches people, sleeps with women, he punches people, has sex wherever he wants, punches people, and so on. Like he's not realistic. Like this is a 2-dimensional character they're trying to put 3-dimensional depth upon, and it doesn't really work. I see you smiling, Mike. I'm sure it's part of your pitch.
Are you guys ready for Indiana Jones 5 No Time to Die?
God damn it.
Where I take another suave debonair character just like they did with James Bond, and I actually give him a reason for being a depressed, dark asshole. Or, okay, so do you want continental drift, or do you want it was meant to go back to Archimedes no matter what? Which one do you want?
I mean, we're gonna get both. So flip a coin, Seth. What you want?
Yeah, no, I let's go with the one that we've just set up here. Let's go with the you were talking the depressing.
Give me the depressing No Time to Die.
So, depressing No Time to Die, I'm not killing his son.
That's right. Okay.
I'm killing Marion.
Ooh. Oh!
I'm killing the love of his life. I am putting him in a deep, dark hole.
You're Rocky Balboa in this whole thing?
I am opening with a black, white, and red of him finding the first piece of the Dial of Destiny. Ooh. Why am I doing it in black and white? Because then I don't have to fucking use CGI to make his face look young.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I just cut $60 million off this.
Right.
Did you guys watch? Did you guys watch that last Pee Wee Herman movie that was on Netflix? Remember what that one?
No,
I did.
It's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. You know how they made Paul Rubens look younger? They literally put tape on the back of his neck and pulled his skin forward.
There's
and then
well, the reason why I went the black, white, and red is there's another movie that uses that to de-age, and they used makeup instead of CGI.
That's cool.
and it made him it de-aged him. It might have been a TV show. I can't remember.
It's also a good reference to Spielberg and his Schindler's List and like his involvement.
Yeah,
with the
and
movie.
also it allows you to
It's cool.
highlight the Nazi flags and stuff.
Also, what I'm highlighting, and the reason why I'm doing black, white, and red, not just because of that, is because when it gets to the end of that conversation, it immediately cuts to him and Helena in a diner because he is telling this story to her. So he was narrating that story. So we actually saw a memory that he was telling.
Okay.
And giving purpose to the opener, which, you know, if we're going to have the opener be connected, I want it to actually be a good connection. And I'm also taking out the part where Mads Mikkelsen character has no right to be alive because he totally should be dead when he hit the fucking water tank.
I thought that was like a fake out at first. I thought it was like we put Mads Mikkelsen in the movie and now we killed him. Haha. And I was like, damn, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, like how did he survive that?
I'm having him thrown off the train. I'm just having him like thrown off the train.
Yeah,
because...
Oh, and by the way, can I just apologize for Thomas Krenchman, who I think is a fantastic actor who always keeps getting cast as Nazis? Please, I'm so sorry. You're a very good actor. You seem like a nice guy. I'm so sorry.
He plays really evil really well. I love that guy.
Apparently, he's a super nice guy, and he keeps getting cast as a bad person. Like, please stop. He did this in fucking Avengers: Age of Ultron. Please stop putting this guy as a Nazi.
Baron von Strucker.
I love him so much as Von Strucker, though. That's why I hate how terrible Von Strucker is in the Marvel movies, because he was
that's Joss Whedon. We can move on from him.
I know, it's Joss Whedon.
Blame him. Like everything else, blame him. Even if he wasn't involved, blame him.
He is telling her this story, and he is disheveled. This is not clean cut. This guy clearly looks like he's been through the fucking ringer. And then
Matthew McConaughey at the end of True Detective.
Oh god.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
He asks why, he asks her why she wants to know, and he says, "I don't want to know." And that is when, ding on the diner, Chris Evans walks in.
Nice.
The estranged son is back. Whatever the fuck his dumbass name was from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. God, I hate that name.
Yeah. Can we just say that his name is Matthew and Mutt's short for that?
I'm just gonna call it Indy Jr. at this point.
Cool, why not?
And Indy's gonna turn around and say, "What are you doing here?" And of course, it's Chris Evans or Ryan Gosling. He goes, "Well, you know, I haven't seen you since the funeral, so I figured I'd come talk to you." The person who is looking for the Dial of Destiny in this version is his son. Because he lost his family the day his mother died. And she did not die of old age. She did not die of cancer necessarily. She died in a car accident. So what you will find out eventually is that Chris Evans is looking for it to save his mom. So that is the savior. So, but you know, there's always more than one party to it, and so Chris Evans has his character, Indy Jr., has kind of sunk to the dark side as well, because again, despair, regret, he is working with Mads' character, who's obviously manipulating him to find this dial, and they know that the one person who has the knowledge of this is Indy. And so Helena is just kind of a tool at first. She has knowledge, so it was his plan to get them both together, take all their knowledge and run away. What he realized is that a lot of Indy's knowledge isn't written down like Helena's is. It's in his head. So he takes him. He is then almost immediately double-crossed, and he then says, "I fucked up. Help me get my dad back." And so Harrison is always away from them, kind of like they're chasing after Harrison Ford. So I have now taken Harrison Ford out of almost every action sequence because he's not needed.
Yeah.
He's really not needed.
I like the idea that Indy's ahead while he's old too. Like he hasn't lost a step.
He's still ahead, but he's very different because he has just been in a bottle of depression since the death of Marion, and at some point there will be a coming of meeting between those two, where they're like, well, let's find the dial so we can destroy it.
Okay.
So eventually, what comes to head is that Indy Jr. is going to want to destroy it, because he feels that this power shouldn't belong to anyone. Because what Indy reveals to him is the reason why she got into a car accident was because she was driving to the hospital because she was dying of cancer.
Oh.
And he did not know. He did not tell Indy Jr. So no matter what he does, she will die.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
so revealing that you cannot change fate. And it kind of is the help that Indy Jr. needs. And then he goes, well, why does this guy want it? That's when he first meets Mad's character and goes, that motherfucker's a Nazi, and he's been looking for this fucking before.
I love
So
that.
up until like that first meeting, it's just
How did
the
you know he
cronies.
wasn't a Nazi?
It's just the cronies. Well, we don't even see him. It's just the cronies at first. So it's just the cronies that are doing all this stuff. So we don't even know that Mads is involved at first. And then
like
once
that.
they get the piece and they're there and they have Indy Jr. has failed his rescue. They have captured him and Indy is there. That is when Mads walks in and that is when it is revealed. Son, do you know who that is? He goes, no, I just thought he was trying to help me. He goes, that guy's a fucking Nazi. I threw him off a train in Berlin taking this piece the last time. And so that's when it's revealed that he was being manipulated the whole time to get this piece because obviously Mads wants to go back to save the Reich.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's clean, it works. I'm just going to keep it, right? And the person who saves them is Helena.
Hell yeah. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Helena saves him. So again, Harrison Ford is there, but he hasn't done any action scenes. He is just present, just like Sean Connery in the last one.
I see what you're doing. You're gonna have Chris Evans and Helena get together. Yeah, you're making the newer version of Marion and Indy. Yep.
I'm making new Marion and Indy.
So they hate each other at first. They should absolutely hate each other.
Yeah. I've given them a purpose to hate each other because
can
he
you just make
her.
sure they never hooked up when she was underage? Make sure that doesn't happen, please.
Yeah, they're the same age.
No.
Thankfully,
thank you.
They are the same exact age. They've kind of known each other. That's why it was so easy for Indy Jr. to get Helena on board for this because they kind of stayed in touch after everything. And so Helena was trying to be the good person and be the go-between between Indy and Indy Jr. to try to, because she thought maybe I could solve the relationship. So she had good intentions with this because she has been friends with Indy Jr. for so long. And of course, Indy is her godfather. And so having that relationship already pre-established, setting that up, can just be told through dialogue. But again, I am cutting insurance. I have cut the use of. We're doing all this on location too, by the way. I'm taking out the stupid fucking fiance. I'm taking that the whole thing that she's doing it for money. I'm taking that out because it felt stupid and I don't like it. It's dumb. It's stupid. I'm just having her
characters earnest reasons again, right? Like,
I'm giving her. I'm giving her the fuck. Well, I'm kind of responsible for this all kind of going down. I need to help fix this. And so I'm going to help fix this and see if I can get through to Indy Jr. because both of these people are very fucking arrogant and up their own ass. And they're both depressed for the same fucking reason. And instead of talking to each other, these two motherfuckers just absorb into one another.
I love this dynamic. It's so like
I don't have to
change fun.
Like there is no dynamic between current Indy in the film and Helena. There really isn't. They don't really.
Honestly, it's like they're aware of the fact that they don't want anyone to think that Indiana Jones is gonna fuck Helena Shaw. So they really these people don't even have to look at each other if you don't want them to.
Yeah.
So when the Dial of Destiny is actually fixed, it works. Kind of. One, a continental drift. It's not 10 degrees. It's 2 degrees. And instead of going backwards, they go slightly forward.
Oh.
And we see when they land his mother. So Miriam, we get to see her. It's like this is in the 40s. This is before Indy Jr. is born, but she's still young. We could even recast the actress, but she still looks really good. So I feel like I could practically make her younger
Sure.
because she still looks fantastic. So if I'm using a little bit of CGI, I'm not even using a lot, and I think I can get away with a lot of practical with her face because it still looks really great. And it's still very close to the way it was before. It's just I would use like AI on her voice because her voice aged too.
Yeah.
And then I have them, but we don't even have to get close to her. This is why we can do this cheap. It's just they see her in the distance, and they hear her call. They hear her say something, and that's how they both know that it's her. And so it's like they get to see her one last time. Indy wants to stay, so I'm keeping that like.
I love that. Yeah.
Just let me stay, and they have that conversation like you can't interact with her, right? You can't touch her, and his come to Jesus is, yeah, but she's still here. And so it's that real show of his despair, of how bad it was. Throughout this entire movie, Indy, if he has a moment of peace, is drunk. Because he is in such a pit of despair from the loss of the love of his life. Because he did find somebody, she did wrangle him, she did change him, and then he lost her. And Indy will take it personal, because that's Indy. And he buries himself in the bottle. It's why the relationship between father and son is bad. And there can even be an escalation of a fight where he's drinking. Indy Jr. is trying to have a bona fide conversation with him, and he grabs and throws the fucking bottle. And there is just this shot back, two incredible actors having a heart-to-heart conversation about, you fucking left me. Yes, she was gone. I miss her too, but I fucking needed you.
Yeah.
And so you can really have that heart-to-heart, and you can still really dial in that regret, because both people regret that she's not there, because she was the binder for keeping everyone together, which was the only good thing about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was that she was like, no, you fucker, fucking be together. And losing that binder shows just how far apart they became.
Yeah.
And now there is a new binder, and the binder is now Helena. And so Helena is kind of helping bring them back together as well throughout these hijinks and this doing with it. Also, now we get to have Olivier in an actual fight and not drowned by a child.
Right.
Yeah. How do you drown a 350-pound man?
So great. Love it.
As easy as possible.
I do
Super easy,
think,
barely an inconvenience.
I do still think I keep the kid. I think the kid just shows up and like Helena.
No, I have a fix. It should be short round. Just change it to like an adult man. It should be short round.
Yeah, we can do short. We can do older short
Like
round.
honestly, when I was watching this movie, I was like, oh, this is the greatest hits of Indiana Jones. Like
Yeah,
the bug sequence, it's clearly from Temple of Doom. Like the Tuk Tuk chase, it's clearly the bike sequence from Last Crusade. It's the greatest hits, but just done worse.
Yeah, so I'm still having that conversation at the end, except where they take the resolution of everything. The thing's over. Indy still wants to stay, and it's not a punch to the face that gets him on the plane. It's a conversation with Indy Jr. telling him that he still needs him. It's this adventure we just went on. I still need you. And so it's not that he was forced back. He willingly comes back.
Yeah. You know what I want to add in here? The Last Crusade has a relationship between Indy and his dad where they don't talk about their feelings, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think in this, Indy should mention having gone on an adventure with his dad and regretting not talking to his dad during that adventure. And that's why we're getting this connection to Indy
escalation. The escalation in the bar where it leads to that fight, that's a dialogue in there is.
Yeah.
Kid, I went on this, I did the same shit that we're doing now. I did this with my dad. We never talked about our feelings.
We screamed at each other the whole
We
time.
just argued and bickered the whole time, and I wish I didn't. And he can say, well, I'm here, Dad. Talk to me.
We could steal a little from Road to Perdition. We
Yep.
just talked about that on another episode.
Yeah,
Have him be like,
yeah.
so kid, what do you like?
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I
to
mean?
do
He just
that.
doesn't know anything about
And
him.
you could keep the conversation completely somber too. You could keep it completely somber. Harrison Ford has the acting chops. Watch Shrinking if you argue with me about it, because the guy has some incredibly deep, somber moments around regret and pushing away a child, and you could absolutely do that in this movie and really push that he didn't think that anybody needed him anymore. When Helena died, and you can even have him have a monologue about what he went through when Helena died, and that he realized that everything he did,
Marion?
Marion.
none of it mattered.
Yeah.
It could be that none of it mattered to him. Like, in the end, the one thing that did matter, he couldn't find, he couldn't preserve, he couldn't help. She was gone.
I also like the idea that maybe he saves the world because it makes him feel needed.
Yeah, and it's like a satisfaction, father and son ramification of it. And the other part of it is forgetting that there is still history. There is still records of your history. And so, having him realize, finding photos of them and just being like, see, we do have this. We do have things that we can remember her by. We have our memories. We have these photos. And, have them have banter. You remember that time Mom took us, that kind of stuff to just kind of help him realize, oh, my history does matter. I am historical, and we have these things together. We have these things. And so allowing a deeper Indy than probably ever before.
Yeah.
And it allowed, and in between all this, we do have Helena and Indy Jr. falling for each other because one, whether it's Ryan Gosling or Chris Evans, I've got a pithy dude lined up with one of the God, she just gets me comedy wise at times. And so she is so pithy. She is so pithy in this movie too. She's so fun to just listen to, just being a wise ass. And I feel like allowing that to still be there, and then having them, because she was there for Indy Jr., and having that closeness drive them closer together over the course of the adventure. So I'm putting these two in love. I'm fixing this relationship as well. And the body of all that was the memories of his wife and Helena's strength. So I'm still getting that strength of female that Indiana Jones has had a lot of. Like, they weren't just bimbos. These were badass women. And so I still have a badass woman keeping everyone together.
Yeah.
That was pitch one, and that is with the continental drift.
Right.
The other thing I did was the Dial of Destiny isn't going back to Archimedes, but it is there's some magical bullshit in it where it goes back to the moment of your deepest regret. So, at some point in this movie, I have Chris Evans' character dying.
Killing Indy Jr.
Wow.
I'm killing Indy Jr. And when Indy touches it, it takes him back to the moment, because what he realizes is Chris Evans' character did not have to die, that the bootstrap was taking him back to the moment that he can change. So what Archimedes actually discovered is there is one point that destiny can change. And if you are the one destined to change it, you're allowed, and time will be fine. So when Mads touches it, nothing happens because he's so irrelevant. He just disappears. So he just is never supposed to have.
That's a very Indiana Jones ending for a villain too.
So he just kind of stops existing at that point, and he was never meant to survive the train. and so he dies. So he has defied his fate. His fate is now corrected, right? So the
Wow.
dial is correcting destiny. And so now we go back. Indy realizes that that's what the dial is for. And Indy pushes his son out of the explosion, shutting the door, turns around, and we watch Indy die.
It would be cool visually if in this sequence we get like him running in slow-mo
Yeah.
towards
Yeah.
Indy Jr. And as he
And
passes
there's
past like
memories.
a pillar or
Yeah.
something, he turns into young Indiana Jones for
Yeah.
just a frame.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
You know
And
what I mean?
yeah, we could absolutely do stuff like that where that would be the most CGI we have is this scene where because we're going to pay homage to the history of Indiana Jones. But in the end, the redemption of everything is my legacy, my history, my memory, my wife's memories, they all can live on if he survives.
Yeah.
And so when he realizes that that was what the dial of destiny is used to correct destinies. So no matter what you do, it's all about who's holding it and what their destiny is meant to be. So
Yeah.
Indy's destiny was always meant to be to save his son from dying.
Which also gives him plot armor for the previous movies and explains
armor.
why he survived so much.
You were never meant to die at any of these points.
So I had 2 movies. I would say the budget maybe 150 million.
Yeah,
I
that sounds
like
right.
That's modest for today's standards.
you
Yeah.
don't need to CGI the shit out of it. Harrison Ford, for the most part, is just a catalyst for moving the other 2 forward, and he
Yeah.
can still be smart ass Harrison Ford. Cut to him being captured, and they're like, they might hit him trying to get the information out of him. And he's like, "You hit like a fucking girl." He's just being Harrison Ford. And you could have him try and attempt an escape and it fails or something. Just one action sequence with Harrison, not too many. You don't need to have him be the catalyst for your action.
Gotta
And
get
by
him
doing
punching
it-
one Nazi. That's what I
Yep.
need.
yeah, which you're gonna get in the callback, in the
Right.
conversation, the memory. So you're gonna get your Nazi punching going on, and you're gonna get
Or
him
Nazi
being a smart
killing,
ass.
because he doesn't kill anybody in this movie except for one guy.
Oh yeah, everyone. There's gonna be some death. I'm not Disneying this movie. It's gonna be
Yeah,
Yeah.
Disney has lost the property rights. See,
I
we're
mean-
gonna take that away.
I did just talk about death a lot, which we know Disney fucking hates. So
Yeah.
Unless it's the character's parents, in which case
Yeah,
they
unless
can
it's
glaze right
character's
over it.
Yeah, it's fine.
But that was my 2 pitches. Was I was going to have Indy Jr. not have been killed because I feel like the character of Mutt or whatever deserved better than not to just be killed away.
Yeah.
Just because Shia LaBeouf is a piece of shit. There was a future for Mutt, who we'll just say is Indy Jr. now. We'll just say his real name was, his name is, he calls himself Mutt because he doesn't want to face the fact that his name is Indiana Jones Jr. and he fucking hates it, just like his dad did, because his dad, remember, Last Crusade, he fucking hates being called Junior.
Yeah.
Well, and he also hates being called Henry.
Callback. You see how many callbacks I just did too? Just saying, you can absolutely do this, and you make an emotional, raw story with on-set locations.
What if he's not Indiana Jones Jr.? What if he's Henry Jones Jr.?
Yeah.
And he goes by Henry, and Indiana Jones thinks that that's like a riff at him, that he's like,
whatever, Indy Jr.
Yeah.
He calls him Indy Jr. He's like, that's not my fucking name. It's Henry.
I didn't name myself after the dog.
Are we having Sala come back into this one? Like,
Yes, yeah. Sala can kind of help them get to the final, like, oh, well, you got to go here to get this.
Yeah, the plot beats of like, go here, do the thing.
Yeah.
That is like, Indiana Jones is an A-B
I can
story.
put Sala
right?
as one of them, and I can put Short Round as the other.
Sure.
there you go. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Give Ke Huy Quan
So essentially, I got it. Sala tells him, oh, go to this location. You're going to meet an old friend. This old friend is Short Round.
That'd be awesome.
So bang, bang.
There you go. Perfect.
Moving forward. I just made an awesome Indiana Jones movie.
Bravo, sir. Bravo,
Yes.
sir. I think if I had to pick mine, the Continental Drift one is my preferred.
It just works better. The bootstrap pisses me off. And I was like, I can make this work, but I don't want to. And so I'm just going to focus on the continental drift is like 2 degrees, but the plot twist is it doesn't take you backwards. It actually makes you miss forward. So you're too early or you're too late. So you had to adjust a different way to go back and you couldn't. So you're now ahead by and it can be like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that 2,000 years for 10 degrees, guys. Come on. Also 10 degrees over 2,000 years.
No,
That's a little extreme for continental drift, guys.
Yeah, like we said, it's millions of years.
We're going to be practical. We're going to go with 2 degrees. We're going to be very practical, except it doesn't make you miss backwards. It made them miss forwards, and it was very slight. It was like 6, maybe 10 years.
I love when time travel doesn't work the way you think it will either, because that allows you to dodge some of the weird logic.
Yeah. And I like the whole we fucked this up kind of logic. And it gives Mads a chance to be like, I can still save his desperation to fix the Hitler. I can still fix this. I still knows what happens now. And I can make, just have him be obsessed with the fact that he can fix this and just really allow Mads to be evil.
Yeah.
Which he wasn't allowed to be.
I love the idea of a Nazi feeling like he's got this big destiny only to find out that he's got no destiny. That's so fitting.
Nothing. Yeah. So that's my take.
Hell yeah. Oh man, what I wouldn't give for a practical old Indiana Jones. Put him in the backseat, make him a Stantler and Waldorf. He's just commenting on the adventure so far.
Yeah, and you can have him.
Hey, look, Marion, no brains.
The very first time where Indy Jr. is trying to chase after him, he gets on a fucking moped, and he's like, "Oh, come on, kid, you should know better than that." Just a callback to something that failed for Indy when he was giving chase before, or just like him giving fourth wall breaking commentary about the old movies in the chase of him trying to get him back at times. And he's just like, that never fucking worked for me. Or he's being drug away, and that's when, sorry, Olivier, I'm gonna parody kill you. Olivier gets out of the car, he's huge, he's like, holy fuck, bang, and he shoots him. And he just parody kills him, and he just goes, yeah, that works. Yeah, he's just commenting the fact that he did something very similar. You can really hone in on that nostalgia in a fun way.
Yeah.
And it's a better movie.
Smart, kid.
And
Smart.
Yeah, smart, kid.
I dig it. Well, let's wrap up this show. I don't want to go 154 minutes like this movie, so
oh God,
let's bring it home for a landing. Thank you so much for that pitch, Mike. That was excellent. 2 of them in a row. They were both excellent. This is a good way to wrap up Indy. I feel good.
Yeah.
Try my best.
The ultimate question, though, is this worth watching, though? The current version we have, is it worth watching?
I've watched it 8
or should
times.
it just stay a trilogy?
Oh, wow. That makes it hard. If the question is, should you watch it? Yeah, I don't think it's better than Crystal Skull. So if you want a little more Indiana Jones, you get a little more.
A colonoscopy is better than Crystal Skull. So that's not a high bar.
I would say for trying to get ready for the game that I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Watch 4 of them. Don't watch the 4th one. Watch 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Like I said, it's the ultimate dick around on your phone movie. You can kind of still know what's going on.
Yep.
Watch the first 10 minutes of 5, and then watch Temple of Doom, then Raiders, then Last Crusade, and then finish up 5.
I just got whiplash from that fucking.
Jesus Christ!
Well, because that would be the chronological order.
Once you're really high and drunk, then watch.
No, Temple of Doom takes place before Raiders.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Oh,
actually, let me correct it. Open with Last Crusade's first 10 minutes, then do the first 10 minutes of 5, then jump back to Temple of Doom, then you can do Raiders.
End this shit.
Good night, everybody. Dude. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a Patreon. You better get over there and give us $1. You get early access to everything. This has been Film Rescue and your Pitchmaster General. Good night.
Good night.
All right.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
And the episode.
I already stopped my backup recording.